What's going on, guys, in the works, and welcome to a Battlefield 3 Showdown. And I know it's been quite a while since we've done one of these, but I finally got around to sitting down and doing the next one that you guys requested, which was the support class, and we are doing the M249 versus the M240 Bravo, which is a really good matchup. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. It's the one you guys picked for the support class, so it should be a pretty awesome showdown. But the last couple of showdowns we did were actually fan requests. We did the assault class, we did the engineer class, and now we're moving on to the support class. And the two weapons you guys wanted to see face off were these two belt-fed LMGs, the M249 versus the 240 Bravo. And this is actually a really good pairing. I think this is a really good one because we actually did this way back in the day before they actually patched these weapons. But they've patched it, they've changed things up a lot, but the base stats are pretty similar. There's a few key differences that we'll talk about. So let's look at the key stats here. You can see that the M249 shoots 800 rounds per minute to the 240 Bravo, which shoots 650 rounds per minute. So that's a big advantage for the M249. However, the damage on the 240 Bravo is much higher. It does 34, only drops off to 22, whereas the 249 has the typical 25 to 18.4 damage model. Now, I will say, the recoils on these are pretty comparable. I did list the 240 Bravo as high because statistically it's a lot higher, but the 249 seems to have more initial recoil. However, the sustained recoil is a little bit lower than you get with the 240 Bravo. Now, I've always been kind of not a fan of the 240 Bravo. It wasn't until they actually patched the LMGs and changed them up a lot before I started to see the true value in it. When the game first came out, there was no weapon in my eyes that could touch the M249. I mean, the fast fire rate, the controllability of the weapon was just unparalleled. I mean, it was just an awesome weapon. But whenever they patched LMGs, they made them so that they're not as accurate from when firing from the shoulder. They kind of changed the mechanics a lot. I found the 249 not to be as good as it once was. Now, the 240 Bravo, though, a lot of people are under the wrong impression with this weapon. They look at battle log, they see the incorrect stats, and they initially think that the 240 Bravo shoots like whatever it says. I think it either says it shoots 700 or 750. That's incorrect, guys. Don't go by those stats. The actual game files show the 240 Bravo shoots 650 rounds per minute. I know it's hard to be like, well, you know, battle log says this, but Battlelog is wrong with a lot of weapons for whatever reason. I don't know if it had something to do with the patching or, you know, the beta. Because in the beta, the 240 Bravo actually did shoot a little bit faster. I don't know if they just never got around to changing it, but it does only shoot 650 rounds per minute. But don't let that fool you. It is actually the highest time to kill LMG in the game. Up until about 50 meters, the 240 Bravo just blows, and I mean blows the 249 out of the water in terms of time to kill. It isn't until, you know, after you get past that 50 meters that it starts to get a little bit closer together because, you know, the M249, it's reaching its 18.4 damage, but it's still firing at 800 rounds per minute, whereas the 240 Bravo, it's down closer to 22, and it's firing a little bit slower. So after 50 meters, the differences really start to go away, but I still give my edge to the 240 Bravo. This thing is just an absolute monster. If you want to play aggressive, like you see me doing here, there's all sorts of different ways that you can play with the 240 Bravo. Even the 249 is pretty versatile. Right here you see me running foregrip and suppressor, which is not something that's pretty common. You don't see a lot of people running around with the 249 foregrip and suppressor, but I find it to be a very lethal combo, especially if you get in there and you like to spray. If you like to get behind enemy lines and remain undetected, the 249 with suppressor and foregrip works really good. The same can be said for the 240 Bravo, although I don't think it's as powerful with foregrip and suppressor. I definitely like the high fire rate of the 249. I find the Bravo to be better in the raw. If you want to run around with the foregrip on it, just run foregrip and extended mags. I feel like that's really where it's at home, where it does its best. I think if you really want to just go in there and just tear people up, this is a very lethal combination. Another combination I've had a lot of success with on this weapon is actually the foregrip and flash suppressor, but you do lose the advantage of having the extended mag. So if you're okay with that, by all means, slap some of the other attachments on it. I mean, the 240 Bravo is amazing with the foregrip and, you know, silencer. It's amazing with the foregrip and the laser sight. I see a lot of people in close quarters actually using that particular loadout. I think the 240 Bravo can actually get away with not having extended mags more than like the 249, because the 249, like I said, it shoots 800 rounds per minute. It's a lot harder to conserve your ammo just because you are shooting so much faster, but it's really not that big of a deal. And now you may notice if you look at the charts I kind of put down, I didn't include anything about reload time, bullet velocity, stuff like that. I actually think the bullet velocities are pretty much the same. The reload time's exactly identical. A lot of the hip fire patterns, you know, the aim down sight accuracy, those are pretty similar as well. There are some big differences in the recoil patterns. That's stuff that, you know, you should probably go and kind of dissect on your own on some of the Simtic charts. Obviously, the M240 Bravo does have more sustained fire recoil, but like I said, the 249 actually has just a slightly higher initial recoil, but it's a lot easier to sustain that fire. So they both work really well with a bipod. You'll see me use bipod throughout this video in different scenarios. I mean, it's really just up to you how you want to use these weapons. I think if you're going to look at a class of LMGs that are most versatile, the 249, 240 Bravo are probably the two belt feds you want to stick for. You know, the cool thing about the 240 Bravo, it is a high fire rate, high damage weapon. Usually when you look at the 34 damage LMGs, you've got the PKP and the M60. Those shoot pretty slow. I mean, they're not really too quick, whereas the 240 Bravo, 650 rounds is what, 70 faster than the M60 and 50 faster than the PKP. So that's a sizable advantage, especially when you consider that you're only going to be dropping off to a 22 damage weapon at your minimum. So you're gonna hold that damage a lot longer. This thing is always going to be roughly a 5 bullet kill. I mean, in a lot of scenarios, you can get away if you're bipoded down with getting, you know, 3 bullet kills if you're lucky, especially if you find some people that are damaged. And heck, this thing is really good, guys. I mean, I can't kind of gush over the M240 Bravo enough. So it definitely gets my vote this week. I think the nice damage, the fact that it's got a good fire rate at 650, which is much higher than like the PKP and the M60. I just think that's really hard to beat. But that's not to say the 249 is a slouch. It's definitely a really good LMG, especially if you like bipoded LMGs. I think the 249 is really awesome in that category. And it also, you know, you can strip off the bipod and run around with it and, you know, kill people with suppressor, foregrip, whatever you might prefer. But let me know in the Facebook poll what you guys want to be the winner this week. I'm actually pretty curious to see which one you guys pick. I think it'll actually be a close one this go around. And be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you might want to see appear in the Recon Showdown. A lot of people were picking the M98B versus the JNG 90, so it looks like that'll probably be the one we do. But as always, go look at the Facebook poll, check out any videos you might have missed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.